Greetings, members, one and all of the Salivation Nation, gold and silver, and their mixed reaction to the new inflation number. Let's explore. Yep, inflation came in lower than expected. 8.7% was what the market was thinking it was going to be, but no, it came in lower at 8.5%. Should we be celebrating? Nope. There's a lot of things still going on in the economy that could certainly turn things around, and there's a key metric that remains unchanged. And we're going to talk about that and gold and silver's reaction to this news here in this video. If you enjoy the latest news with regards to precious metals or just videos in general about precious metals, I hope you will consider sticking around, checking out the channel, maybe subscribing, pressing the thumbs up button. So this is an article I'm going to be referring to from Kitco. Gold has rallied after inflation in the U.S. cooled slightly in July, which is still close to the highest annual rate in 4 decades. At 8.5%, it's still very close to the June's 9.1% annual gain. And why is that? Well, because if we look at a chart going back, inflation back in July of 2022 was 5.3%. So in a sense, it's 8.5% on top of 5.3% inflation. Double-digit inflation, folks. The 9.1% was, I'm not seeing the numbers from back over a year ago, but if you look back, typically it was climbing up. It really didn't start to go up dramatically until about October of 2021. And then we saw inflation rise dramatically from then on out. So some say that we've reached peak inflation. I don't necessarily read it that way, but nonetheless, that's just my thoughts on the matter. On a monthly basis, the headline number was changed from last month following an advance of 1.3% in June, the U.S. Labor Department said Wednesday. The flat number was mainly due to 7.7% drop in gasoline prices, which offset increases in other sectors. Core inflation, which strips out volatile food and energy costs, accelerated 5.9% from a year ago. Surprisingly slightly on the downside, but maintaining the same pace as in June. So that is really the key metric here we have to think about. If you take out the volatile food and energy costs, inflation is still rising about the same rate. Meanwhile, 1 month increase was also below market expectations with an advance of 0.3%. The biggest price drop was in the energy sector, down 4.6% on a monthly basis. The gasoline index fell 7.7% in July, an offset increase in the food and shelter indexes, resulting in the all items index being unchanged over the month. The energy index fell 4.6% over the month as the indexes for gasoline and natural gas declined, but the index for electricity increased. The food index continued to rise, increasing 1.1% over the month, as the food at home index rose 1.3%, the release stated. In an immediate reaction to the data, gold actually jumped to a daily high of $1,824 an ounce. It has since pulled back to below $1,800 an ounce. It's now $1,790. That was a pretty big jump. At the time, we see Cummins Gold Futures was trading still up over $1,800 when the article was written here. The July CPI data was the most anticipated release of the week as markets attempted to gauge how aggressive the Federal Reserve could be at the September meeting. And that is part of the reason why I think the metals have kind of pulled back, thinking that they still will raise rates because of the other activity taking out volatile food and energy costs. Inflation is still high. So on the immediate release of that data, the markets interpreted as really good news, but also thinking that the Fed may actually tamper their rate hikes and have a more dovish policy. But now, with inflation still going up, they are going to probably raise rates, which is going to put pressure on gold and silver. Albeit silver still has not pulled back. It's still up slightly here today. It is trading at $20.66, up a nickel on the day. So with headline inflation still at 8.5% and core inflation at 5.9%, this is not yet the meaningful decline in inflation the Fed is looking for. But it's a start, and we expect to see broader signs of easing pressures over the next few months, according to Capital Economics chief U.S. economist Paul Ashworth. For gold, the slowdown in inflation could trigger substantial buying, but there's still a risk of price reversal. And in fact, it indeed did reverse in price, and it is now fallen back down a bit. And this is why, folks, I'm still thinking we are going to see the prices for both gold and silver fall before they rise again. And when will that rise take place? Some say it could happen in the fall. We may talk about that in a future video as to what kind of things that could happen that could cause the price to go up. But nonetheless, silver kind of holding on here on the day. I still believe it has room to fall. And again, whenever I talk about silver and its price falling, that does not mean that I'm anti-silver. It does not mean that I'm bearish on silver as a metal. I'm bearish on milk spots like what's on this buffalo here. I hate the milk spots, but I like silver. I'm a fan of silver. I'm a fan so much of silver that I like to be realistic about it. And I believe it sells itself over the long course of time, depending on how you buy it. That is something we must take into account and into consideration, because each person is different as to whether or not they do very well in silver, even profit, dare I say. Some people can do that if they buy it the right way. Even stackable silver, it's very difficult to do. I wouldn't bet the bank on it. But also, you can lose big time in silver. And that is one thing to keep in mind, especially as it is more volatile than gold. Gold is a much more stable asset to hold on to. And this is why I have moved more towards gold in recent years here. The last 5 years, I've been purchasing more gold than silver. Part of me feels like I have enough silver, but I do buy for my collections and pieces that I do enjoy. But otherwise, I'm mainly stacking gold at this point. But that's an aside note here. With this inflation and how the markets are reacting to it, well, they are have this mixed reaction. Earlier in the day, they were up. And as the day comes to a close, the trading day is very close to ending here. We are going to probably see gold price actually drop on the day, and silver maybe stay barely above and possibly drop by the time you see this video. Who knows? But I think a lot of it is how the data are being interpreted and also what the Fed does. I think September is going to be an important month. I still believe that they will raise rates in September, but the next one, I believe they may actually lower the rates back down a bit, or maybe not do anything at all. And that will have probably severe consequences at that point in time, but it may take that time after the September meeting and rate hike before we see any kind of activity. We're still in a world of hurt economically with this recession that is definitely in. And even though the last numbers for recession was 0.9% negative growth, which was better news than the previous month, it'll be very interesting to see what the next one has in the revised numbers. Because yes, more people are working, but we know now that those are mostly part-time jobs, service-oriented jobs, which there was we were sorely lacking in those jobs heading into this season in the summer. And so, as some news reports say, we are essentially at a pre-pandemic level in terms of the service-oriented jobs. And I think more likely this economic activity we're seeing now is because people are wanting to spend money now before stuff goes way up. Inflation, people can only withstand it so long. And they see it rise, people are stocking up on things, knowing they're going to go up. And sooner or later, that's going to stop. And that's going to really hurt the economy. And we've not seen that yet. Stay tuned for that, which is why I believe gold and silver will go up in due course. But nonetheless, this mixed reaction to the new inflation number is quite intriguing on the day, as they were both up, and now silver being barely up and gold down. Now platinum and palladium are both up on the day, but nonetheless, gold and silver are mixed. So there you have it. Let me know what your thoughts are on this news here today. I would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.